Well, I tell you what, the weather's took a proper turn for worse, and it's on the end of May. 2 weeks ago, I was outside here in shorts, and now it's blowing a chuffing gale. Well, a gale might have been a bit of an exaggeration, but it's certainly not warm. So I've got a couple of hours spare today, so I'm going to do a job I've been putting off for a while, and I'm going to tidy this area up and tidy this flag up. I made this flag about 10 years ago. I mean, you can still tell what it is now, but when I made it, all the wood were different colours, but over the years the sun's been on it and it's all faded. It's all more or less the same colour now. So what I'm going to do is, I've got some red, white and blue spray paint, so I'm going to try spraying a thin coat of red, white and blue over it and see if it makes any difference. And then plus I'm going to do that whole background, the whole of the wood background there. I'm going to repaint that as well today. I'm having to move all this now so I can get to that properly. This is it, one job always leads to another. Said that before, haven't I? But I've said it because it's true. The thing is though, once you get started, you're alright. It's just getting started. I looked at this morning and thought, Jesus, there's loads to do. I mean, to be fair, all this decking's been down 10 years and it does need renewing. But I always said I wouldn't use wood decking anymore. Again, I would use plastic. So that might be what I do. I might replace all this with plastic, get a price for it, see how much it costs. The worst thing about this wood decking is it's sort of never ending. You put it down and then every year you've got to clean it with the Karcher and then oil it and stain it. And it doesn't last forever. I'm thinking the plastic stuff's probably the way to go. It lasts a lot longer. I suspect it's more likely to be in the thousands than in the hundreds. If anybody knows how much this composite plastic stuff is, you can let me know in the comments. But I think it'll be worth doing. Because it's not only the money you spend, is it? It's not only the money you spend oiling and painting your decking every year. It's the time it takes. It's a weekend every year to clean it, wait for it to dry, and then oil it all. So surely plastic's got to be the way. I can feel it, it's starting to rain again. I'll show you here, look. We ain't used down here this decking for 2 years because of things like this. So the whole lot is desperate for doing. So there's about 5 or 6 places on this decking where it's gone through like that. Up there it's even worse. I've put that pallet over it because there's a whole section of it gone there. So we haven't used down here for a couple of years. So it all needs renewing, like I said. But the trouble is, it's expensive, isn't it? You know, and with the cost of living the way things are these days, with the price of stuff, you know, and I don't want to get into the political aspect of it, but we're in a mess, aren't we? So I can't afford it this year. So just gonna have to wait. But what I can afford this year is a few tins of paint sold. I'll do what I can, as always. It's only about a quarter of a bucket of this left. I might have to go get some more, but this were only 15 quid, I think. So while I've got the paint out, I decided to do all this front piece as well. It's not been done for a couple of years. Right, I just stopped for a coffee there and I was working out how much it had cost me in composite plastic decking. And I've got a rough price of £23.99 per metre, and it's 145mm, and then there'll be a 10mm gap. So I've just measured this decking and it's roughly 12 metres that way by 4 metres that way, and there's a little bit down there that makes it 5 metres. So I'm working on 12 before. So I've worked out, if I'm right, that to deck all this in the plastic composite would cost me about 1,800 quid, which I didn't think were too bad. So that makes sense to me. 1800 quid ish. Even if it's 2.5 grand, I don't think that's too bad. So I think that's something I'm going to look into. And I'm working that out at £25 as well, just for round figures. I sort of thought I needed 3 lengths because they're coming from 4 metre lengths. So that's 25, 50, 75 times however many times I need to go down there, which were about 24. So I just times that roughly. So I don't think that's too bad. I'm going to look into that. Do you know what's always a surprise to me? It's never as bad as what you think. I came out here this morning and I looked at this and I thought, oh my god, this is going to be a nightmare. Because the wind was blowing, it was verging on rain, and then it did start raining later on. And I thought, oh god, how much am I going to get done anyway, like you always do. But I'll tell you what, all you need to do is get started. And then I can look back now at that lot and think, yeah, that lot looks quite nice. I never even noticed this morning. It needed doing until I was looking round after I'd done that, and I thought, oh, that needs doing as well. But yeah, looks tons better. I feel better, the decking feels better, the weather's better. We're all feeling good. All you gotta do is start. And then as you do one bit, you think, oh, that doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty good. It looks a lot better than it did. And then that motivates you to do something else. It does me anyway. That's how it works for me. And the thing about this stuff I've found, what is it? Timber care, shed and fence timber care. It seems to dry pretty quick. I mean, that will bare wood basically. So I've put that first coat on. Got to the end, 10 minutes, and then this is ready for the next coat. And then it just gives it a bit of a sheen, looks a lot better. The second coat's a lot easier to put on as well. Lovely. Right, let me show you this. I was painting this post here. I've stepped back and I've literally gone straight through the decking with my foot. Dropped the paint, landed with my hand in the paint. I've managed to scoop some of it back up and get it in my tub, but luckily I've just about finished this post now, so I've got enough to finish it. But that's how dangerous it is. A split second, stood back, stood on the middle of that, gone straight in. So that's how much this decking needs changing. What I'm actually just going to do now is, well, it's not too windy. The wind has picked up back up again. It wasn't even windy 2 minutes ago when I went and got this. So while I'm sure it'll die down again. While it's not too windy, I'm just going to use this plastic bag to mask up a little bit of this, and I'm going to do the spraying. I'm going to take that off and just do it freehand. Right, I think I'm done for today. So what I think I've managed to do today is break it down into bite-sized pieces. What I've done, I've got rid of a load of rubbish. I'll show you now how the decking was when I first started. It was a right mess. There was stuff all over, and stuff got put under these stairs, just to get out of the way really. And you know how you do, you think, oh, I'll just put that out of the way there. And then what happens is they get rained on, they get leaves in, they get slugs and worms and all sorts of wood lice under them. That rots the wood even more because it can't dry. So what I've done, I've got rid of a load of rubbish, swept the whole decking, and what that's allowed me to do is inspect it properly and see how many places it is properly rotting. Now the place where I went through originally, that's just a couple of boards, that's a little space that's rotted. Over there, where I'll show you now, that is really bad. There's about a 6 foot square area that's really rotted. And why I think it's rotted there is I used to have a punch bag on that tree. There used to be a branch coming out of a tree there, and I had the punch bag on there. So I think over the years I spent a lot of time there sort of training on that punch bag really when I used to do boxing training, and I think that's what's worn that area out and broke the sort of ridges off, and that's where it's allowed water to get in. I think that's possibly why it's rotted as bad in that area as it has. So the upshot of it is I've inspected it all, and I've identified the areas where it's really bad and dangerous, and I've actually got some decking here, some brand new decking that a friend of mine gave me at the beginning of this year. It's not quite as thick as this. It's about 5mm shorter because I used some upstairs. I don't know if you remember on the video I did last year. It's about 5mm shorter, but I think in the short term it'd be all right, and I could do that in a day. So what I might do is get some of that cheap, well, I bought some more of this cheap brown timber stecking. I'm not going to oil it again because I think it's a waste of time, because it is going to eventually going to come up, and I'll repatch it up with that for this year so that it can be used down here this year, and then in preparation for next year spending 2.5 grand, whatever it is, and redoing this whole thing with the plastic composite stuff. So that's my plan. Like I say, bite-sized chunks. You know, took a big bite out of it today and it looks a lot better. I feel a lot better about it today. But I am chuffed at how my flag turned out anyway, so I'm pleased with that. Right, thanks for watching. See you again. Bye.